What's up, everyone? I am the one, the only Jack Slater, aka the Comic Outlaw. Yes, sir. And I'm back. And we've been gone for a little bit, so we're bringing you a few videos here and there. And we're doing another toy review. Originally, I was doing an X-Men month. We had problems with the electrical system, things went haywire. But I do have a few toys I'd like to open up and share with you. And one of them is a special one I've been waiting for a while. Now, back in the old days, there was a comic book series called The Age of Apocalypse, not to be confused with the movie The Age of Apocalypse. And one of the girls to come out of it was Blink. Now, for those uneducated to the Age of Apocalypse, a while back, a long time ago, like over 10 years ago, this son of Charles Xavier, you might know him from the show Legion, which I think is eh. I've never liked Legion as a character. He has multiple personalities, each personality with a different power, and he has over like 1,000 or like 1,000,000 personalities, depending on who's writing the effing thing. He goes back in time. He declares that Magneto is the person that ruined his life, and that if he simply killed him in the past, he would marry his mother and they would be happy and together. And, anyways, he goes on this Legion's quest, and they go back in the day and they find a young Charles and a young Magneto. And what ends up happening is Legion ends up accidentally murdering Xavier, and it sets this whole thing into motion where Magneto becomes the leader of the X-Men, takes them to Wingate, I believe that's where it's called, somewhere up in the mountains in Europe, and he becomes their own team. Apocalypse attacks early during the Age of Heroes, and the world becomes an irradiated mess, with Apocalypse ruling the United States and most of North America with an iron fist, and the humans and everyone fighting against him. Everything went all topsy-turvy. Wolverine had one hand, it was with Jean Grey. Cyclops was a bad guy, kind of adopted by Mr. Sinister, had one eye, where Wolverine had one hand, because they took each other out when he went to rescue Jean from Sinister slave pits, because he's one of the horsemen of that part, and he rules one of the sections of the United States along with the four other horsemen. And like I said, everything's topsy turvy. The world is completely different. Gambit has his own team called Gambit, and Externals, they're like a Robin Hood group. It's actually a really good series. Sabretooth is a good guy in this one, more controlled. Has a what's his name? Wildcat, something like that, on his shoulder, and kind of carries him around like a pet. He ends up becoming a father figure to this character, Blink, who made her first appearance in this alternate reality. Whoo, man! I'm gonna pull my best Ric Flair and be like, whoo! Seriously. But she has the power to teleport. She makes like these energy beams, and then she throws them and can appear anywhere or just pop up anywhere. Very useful. She was a very cool character. She was one of the highlights in it. There's actually a sad scene where Creed sort of sacrifices himself to fight this other creature named Holocaust, which is supposedly Apocalypse's son in that, who ends up getting destroyed by Magneto when he murders Scarlet Witch in this alternate reality. And he becomes like a crystallized being to contain his energy. I tell you, this world's all topsy-turvy. Storm and Quicksilver are married, for example. Rogue and Magneto are married, and they have a child because Magneto can extend his magnetic field, and Lucky Duck ends up getting it on with Rogue. It just seems to be that way with Rogue. Every time someone can touch her, oh boy, does she like to touch them. Ooh. Uh, but anyways, this girl is so popular, she made another run, comic book series, I believe, called The Exiles. They're like groups from the multiverse. Or they were like plucked out, and they do like multiverse missions, kind of like Excalibur back in the day. A very cool comic, very cool concept. Another highlight character, and that was Hyperion. Very cool. I think that she's one of the highlights, like I said, from Age of Apocalypse. It was nice that she made an appearance and had a longevity after the show. I thought that was really awesome that they actually did that. And this is classic Blink right here. You can see in the back. Check that out. These are all the ones that you need to form that character right there. If you're interested, I opened the Gambit earlier on in one of my other shows, so you should check that out. I did a little profile on Gambit too. And I do love this character. I love her teleportation powers. Everything about this character screams class. And that's the very cool thing about it. So, without further ado, let's crack this open, shall we? See what we got here. We'll use my key to the city right here. We'll pop it on open and see what we got. This is just pure magic right here. Alright, dropping the plastic, pulling it out. Now, as you see, no straps, which I do like. Pull her out first. Sheesh. Okay. Work my magic on there. And let's check her out. See? Pretty cool. They give her an elf-like quality, purple skin. Has a lot of articulation in it. Very awesome. Little teleportation things go right there. She has a little thing right here for when she can teleport. You can set it up. Overall, a very cool toy. Very detailed. Very articulate. And I'm very glad they put this in the set. They only made one set a while back. It was a small toy. I'm glad they reprinted it. Very cool. A very welcome addition to the shelf. And welcome Blink. And I give it a high review. I highly recommend picking it up. I recommend looking at the Age of Apocalypse stories. And furthermore, I check it out, give it a good read, and look up Blink. You will not be disappointed. And as always, this is the Comic Outlaw. And I will catch you on the flip side. Laters.